To me, this story says a lot. So Republican leaders are now really getting fed up and annoyed with just how dumb some of the members of their caucus are. So let me throw this on screen for you. This is from Matthew Gertz. Got some bad news for Republican leadership. Even if their dumbest members shut up and stay off TV, the party's Infotainers will still be telling its base that Silicon Valley Bank collapsed because it was too woke. So look at this. Here's what he linked to. So Kevin McCarthy, the speaker, convened Republican House members for a call Monday evening to discuss the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank after several days of conservatives arguing that Silicon Valley Bank collapsed because it was too woke. McCarthy and other GOP leaders reportedly emphasized the role inflation played in the bank's problems, as well as the failure of federal regulators to spot danger signs. According to Politico, Republican Study Commission head Kevin Hern also warned, quote, that members and staff don't know what's going on and should stop tweeting and going on TV if they don't understand. Wow. So do you understand the argument here? McCarthy and the leaders, by the way, to their credit in this rare instance, they're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Every Republican politician who's going on TV to talk about this bank collapse, everyone is saying this is because of wokeism. And they look like massive, massive morons. Donald Trump Jr. came out and said it. Ron DeSantis came out and said it. We covered, there was a politician, I forget who it was, Republican politician on Fox News who said it in a very, very straightforward way. No nuance. This is because of wokeism, bro. They had like diversity and equity and inclusion at this place, and that's why this happened. They're unironically making this argument. Now, of course that's colossally untrue. Of course that's colossally untrue. But why is McCarthy like, hey man, it doesn't bother him when things are untrue in other spheres, so why does he care in this one? Because there's nothing intuitive about that lands for normies. If you blame the bank collapse on wokeness, normies will be like, what's wokeness? What does that even mean? So he's trying to give them a conservative argument that isn't that stupid. So his argument is, well, blame inflation, because inflation led to the Fed jacking up interest rates. When the Fed jacked up interest rates, the bonds, which were 56% of Silicon Valley Bank, they went down in price and became worth less and less. And then that led to a bank run. And also it was, a liquidity crunch for the tech world. So they went to Silicon Valley Bank because they needed more of their money to make payroll. So they kept taking out. And then eventually Peter Thiel was like, hey man, that bank may not be stable, so you might want to get your money out. Told all of his buddies. Then they all ran and did it. Boom, bank collapse, done. But I see the argument McCarthy's trying to make. He's saying blame inflation, which we blame on Biden. That's what he's saying. Because it was inflation that led to interest rates going up, and then the interest rates going up really helped facilitate this crash. That's the argument he's trying to make. There's a grain of truth that inflation had a role to play. To just blame Biden is absolutely preposterous for the inflation. But notice he's also dodging the truth. He's just doing it in a more artful way than the idiots who are blaming wokeness. Because the real truth of the matter is all of this could have been prevented with regulation that every Republican voted to take away. Every single one. In 2018, Trump signed the bill which deregulated parts of Dodd-Frank. 17 Democrats in the Senate joined the 50 Republicans. And here we are. That basically made it so that the size that Silicon Valley Bank was, which was considered mid-size, there used to be stringent regulations where they had to have a stress test, and there were no more stress tests because we deregulated them. No leverage rules, no diversity rules. Hey, you have to diversify where your money is. None of that. You took all that stuff away, and then now we had the crash. So the real culprit is they weren't diversified, which is just bad management on their part. Like they just didn't do a good job running the bank, but also the deregulation. You can't bring up those things because if you bring up those things, the solution is a left solution. The solution is more intelligent regulation. But it's amazing that we've now gotten to the point where Kevin McCarthy is face-palming behind the scenes like, I'm dealing with a bunch of idiots here, man. How am I supposed to lead when all these morons are blaming a bank collapse on wokeness? Wokeness has literally nothing to do with this at all. The real problem, again, is deregulation. Anyway. By the way, I don't hear these people rushing out too now. The Republicans are not rushing out to say, don't bail them out. Interesting, right? Because that used to, credit to like Ron Paul, libertarian types. Ron Paul and Bernie agreed in 2008. They were like, do not bail out these banks. Why? Because that is socialism for the rich. Endless bailouts for the rich. The poor get destroyed. And it's a similar instance here. It's just a bailout by another name. They're going through the FDIC and the Fed, but it's still a bailout at the end of the day. It's still a bailout. And they're not screaming against the bailout. Why? Because these are wealthy, powerful people, and the Republican Party is cucked to wealthy and powerful people. They'll do whatever the hell they want. And I'm just astonished that Kevin McCarthy apparently realized, hey, we went too far. You know what it is? In the last election, they tried to run on social issues, and they got walloped. What'd they talk about endlessly in the last election? Oh my God, the election was stolen from Trump. Okay, all those candidates got draxed. They talked about crime. Oh my God, crime. That didn't land. They got destroyed in the midterms. And the other thing, what they bring up, trans stuff. There were a bunch of ads that were run, Republicans bringing up trans issues. So in other words, totally ignoring like kitchen table issues that people, really focus on most of their time. How am I going to pay the bills? Stuff like that. They didn't talk about that at all. At all. And so Kevin McCarthy is realizing you're going to talk about wokeness in regards to a bank collapse. How dumb are you? And McCarthy is correct. But yeah, by the way, I think the point from the Media Matters guy is correct, that it doesn't matter. Even if every Republican politician says, we blame inflation, and so we blame Biden because of the inflation, they're not going to do that because the Infotainers, the Ben Shapiro types, Steven Crowder types, all the right-wing commentators, they're going to blame it on wokeness. And they have a much louder megaphone than do random schmuck, Republican congressmen from Tennessee or whatever. And so the narrative is going to be what the narrative is going to be, but McCarthy realizes there's nothing about this that's going to land. It is not intuitive at all. It's totally made up. People know it's made up. So anyway, hilarious. He's lost control of his own caucus, and his own caucus is significantly dumber than he is. All right, y'all, that's the show. That is the show. I love you to death. Thank you, as always, for listening. Everybody do me a big favor. Click that like button and that subscribe button. The subscribe button is actually more important because we're trying to get to 1 million subs. When we do, we're going to do a stream. We're going to celebrate. We're going to have some fun. And I'm looking forward to that, but we got to get there first, man. I don't know. Look, if we're being optimistic, maybe we can get there in like a month. If we're not being optimistic, we can get there in like 3 months. I don't know. Somewhere in that ballpark. But maybe we can beat that. Maybe we can get there in less than a month, and we can have our celebratory stream before then. Try to get us there in like 2 weeks or some shit. Everybody just click that sub button. Let's do it, baby. Also, click that bell icon so you get a notification every single time a video drops. Remember, guys, if you want to now, you could always listen to the full show as a podcast over on Spotify, and you get the whole thing, and you don't have to go video for video like you do on YouTube. So remember that if you prefer listening in that way. And that's all I got for you, man. Much love to everybody who supports the show on Patreon. You guys make it work. I've never talked to an advertiser. I never will. You guys make that possible. Link in the video description box below. If you can give $2 a month or whatever, I deeply appreciate it. That's how I wanted to build this. I don't want to have any influence from any, outside entities. It's all for you guys. It's all grassroots. It's all bottom up. So thank you so much for supporting the show. And also thank you everybody for supporting Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. You guys know the deal over there. You pay $5 a month. You get the video of every interview and you get it a day early. Everybody else can listen for free on any of the audio podcasting platforms. And that's that, y'all. I love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Everybody have a great one. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.